Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third game series of the NEBVEMBER tournament. We got 120 SPM scoring off against Freakbob's Fenthouse. I'm NekoboyBlue, and I'm joined at the co-casting booth by Scape GT.
Hello, everyone.
All right. Team 1 is going to be 120 SPM. Team 2, as you can tell by the tag, is going to be Freakbob's Fenthouse. Scape, you want to introduce those Team 1 players?
Sure thing. Team 1, this is the 120 SPM stack here. We have Backline Fan, who is Notes, Solus, Mildly, and Iris.
All right. Team 2 in the Orange Trunks OSP, we've got Fenthouse Drive Yards, Spy Eye, and 2 Cosmic Eradicators. That's going to be Columni and Mr. Clark numbers along with that.
Which are definitely not alt accounts at all.
Yeah, totally not.
I can confirm that one of these Cosmics is indeed the real one. We will see if we are able to tell whose Cosmic is who. But anyway, taking a look at initial deployments here on Gold Rush here, Freakbob's Fenthouse, I'm seeing a monitor ball high and a CLN in the back, scattered liners and cap assets around the map. Looks like, surprisingly, based on the deployments, looks like a pretty standard play from Freakbob's Fenthouse.
Yep, nothing really strange coming out there. And aside, we've got a big battleship, common deployment location, a couple beamstones scattered about. I'm seeing a levy of their own. Quite a few destroyer count there. All right, you want to go through ANS or OSP to start with?
I'll take ANS because I took them in the intro.
All right. I think I'm watching Spy Eye. I recognize the name of this monitor on the drop.
That's not a monitor ball.
Uh-oh. Are you sure? Looks
all right.
like it might be a
getting
monitor
the
ball.
zoom in on. I'm getting the zoom in on.
That's a 5 monitor ball there. All right.
No, that is a monitor ball. They have a different thing somewhere else. All right. Anyway, starting off with notes here, brought a double levy. We've got standard looking levy, more standard than we saw before. It looks like we're doing bomber heavy, which is was the previous meta until S1s kind of got their return to form here. All S3s, Heiko countermeasures, and then 20mm nose gun, S2 missile bay. Tontos here probably going to be relying on those SDM-200s. Yep, you've got some in the mag there. Up next, Iris is running the battleship here. Comms jammer on the side, chaff launcher, VLS-2 backpack. Parallax radar, so no long-range quad TC spy, but still solid. The escort is a Sarissa Scout brick. Mildly running the pretty standard cap fleet here. This is Dumbass 3, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Corpse, Carcass, Cadaver, and Skull. Wait, no, that's the wrong one. Yeah, Skull. Oh, okay. Mildly and Solus are running the same fleet. Okay, so that brings ANS's total
caps.
to...
Interesting.
Yep,
all right.
8 beamstones, and I believe all of these... No, whoa. That's 10 beamstones. This is the 5 beamstones. That
is a lot of beamstone here. These are Dragonfly beamstones by the looks of it. I expect
yes, they're all Dragonfly.
Here,
yes, okay.
But no, okay.
All right, so ANS is playing heavily for that initial cap capture and then beamstone hold. They only have 4 gun cappers in total. That is 2 gun cappers and 2 cringe cappers per player.
I feel like they could have tuned this a little bit differently, but at the same time, affording 5 beamstones in fleet is expensive. We see these beamstones are pretty naked. Shaft box on the top, the lock on the bottom there, right on the chin, and then not much else attached onto them, saving points wherever they can to fit all those holes. Taking a look at OSP side, already seeing some decoys being launched out here. Let's see. Cosmic Eradicator, the first up top, has a 250 liner moving its way towards the key point, providing overwatch cover there. No secondary batteries on this one, I can see, but still very... Actually, no, one secondary on the belly, or is that a rebound? No, not a rebound. That is a... Am I just points? That is a T20, okay.
Yeah, it's like a singular
rebound's
T20.
ANS specific. I am cooked today, apparently. All right, Yub Brick along with this size 2 monitor, good tech device there, nice little arsenal. This thing has got itself, looks like 100 missiles in there, so that's 5 salvos, as I recall. Cosmic Eradicator then rounds it out with 1, 2, 3, 4 T-20 Pavis shuttles, very good stuff there. The other Cosmic is going to come in with a rocket shuttle towards the seaside point. We're going to see that they have got a T-30 liner obelisk-style plasma on that as well, moving its way towards that sea point. Another one of these things is going to be hanging back for the moment, covering the A side. They've split them up a little bit, but can consolidate to focus fire. Another rocket shuttle just hanging back for the moment. Fenthouse takes to the skies with a carrier here, 3K... no, not quite 3K more line.
It's
2 empty cappers.
R2s. It's R2s.
R2s
284
very strong.
R2s in there. 200. That's going to be absurdly effective against those beamstones if Tethys is able to find them.
No overwatching. Well, maybe some overwatching actually. Just I was thinking at normal state you don't have enough beamstones to get that cover, but now taking a look at the double cap fleet tech, this could end up working with the XXL Aurora strategy we've seen before. So have to see how that goes. And lastly, we got Spy Eye coming in with their monitor balls here. Some funny names along with that. And yeah, not much to say about that. It's a pretty standard looking monitor ball. Plasma, T30, C90, just kind of the usual gubbins you expect from this. 8-point cap is going to go to the hands of the ANS pretty fast, as they are going to send 2 of their naked cappers. One of them gets locked on immediately. Cosmic Eradicator going to open up with their aiming C53s here and T30s to follow. Yeah, that Corvette's going to be in for a world hurt.
That is a cringe capper there. It would appear that one of the Cosmics...
It's already dead.
It's already dead. Jesus. Okay. Wow. I knew it was a cringe capper, but I've never seen a cringe capper die that quick. Jesus.
100 mil liners do not play around. We see them now
Anyway.
wasting some shot on it. They need to reload and go for the second one. Otherwise, we're going to see this A-cap
Crimson,
potentially
though.
go through.
Crimson is going for the hit, though, with missiles out from... Looks like the Yub Brick. Those missiles curve around and hit the cringe capper.
And
A is
there we go.
denied.
A
SDM
denial with
200
it at 80%. Beams on the fighters now. As we saw
Massive,
there.
yeah. We have a very aggressive engagement at A from both sides here. Dragoon Squadron are bombers. They send out their torpedoes as Crimson with the rockets comes in. Unfortunately, no kills for them as they start getting SDM hits from Splinter here. The Beamstone comes in from Mildly here. 1-Corpse also tries to get some beam hits into Crimson. Crimson taking some pretty heavy losses. All ships dead at A. No A cap today. Meanwhile, across the map, OSP takes E and their natural of D.
Beamstone
ANS
actually
takes
cleans up the fighters above 8-point there briefly. Sorry to interject, but...
Very, very excellent play from, those were Modley's Beamstones there. And Solus has a couple around, too, that are in position. Yeah, the Beamstones in really, really aggressive positions around A. They do not want A to fall. Meanwhile, though, on C point here, Cosmic steps onto C with one of their T-20 shuttles.
There is a
the
beam destroyer,
capper
the Bone, in position from Solace that is now rotating over. That said, there's a
tries
rock
to
in the
have
way denying
active-
that angle.
Yeah, that is a really bad angle for that Beamstone here. This capper, I think, is going to take the point before that Beamstone's able to find it.
Heartbreak Flight
which will
dodging for their
give-
life as that beam is fishing for them right now. Doesn't quite get it with the B short, but potentially could clean this
If
up.
Tethys... Yep, Tethys immediately starts flank speeding directly towards that where that beam came from. They are low on fuel, though. 10 seconds left on Heartbreak Squadron. I do not think that they're going to have enough fuel to strike.
Spectre
They
Flight has
will
got a
likely have
minute
to
in the
redraw.
tank there, so they might be able to get around the flank and attack. That said, Crimson Flight is on standby with SDM-2s covering this destroyer.
Yep, you can see notes over there is sorting out those SDM 200 Tontos. They're always ready to defend the Beamstones here.
Crimson Flight gets the engage. Nada Lights here going to go out. CMD with Wake secondary. One of them
Rockets
going
still
to
come
find
out.
target. Other one going to find as well. Rockets quickly flick shot. See if
Those
they are
were
in range.
long range. We'll see if those are enough. Multiple rocket hits will be enough.
One good impact there. Takes out the mag, but that's non-essential.
It's damage. Spectre Squadron forced to withdraw. They have no ability to win this fight. The beam comes out and eviscerates a little bit more of Heartbreak, which is stuck on RTB. Straight pathing. Meanwhile, Cosmic pushing really aggressively with one of their auto gun liners here. Pushes directly into ANS's backline here. All of these Beamstones are now attempting to pivot. Although Cosmic does
Bit
get
of a bad
nasty
spread there at
broadside
first.
on one of the A-cap Beamstones. This A-cap Beamstone was revealed early on when it attempted to deny A, and now Mildly is going to get shredded here.
Gonna go ahead and call
Solus-
that a bit of a misplay on their attack. Looks like they fired before they'd established lock. A lot of those shots went wide and did not get the kill that they should have, given that this thing was caught completely broadsided. It
It's
is slightly
damage, and
damaged
it's
at the
taken
moment.
Plasma.
Hmm.
SDM 200's now out from Cosmic's 100 mil liner here, going into
Take a look at
Buckshot Squadron. This is a
bit
torpedo
of
bomber
tech on
squadron.
this. Double swing arm launcher is going to be able to see off some of those lighter threats. Actually,
And a
yeah, triple swing
bombing
arm
blade.
on this.
Whoa, Act CMD Val, SDM 200s. Never seen that particular
Interesting.
type before. Although contact is lost with Buckshot Squadron, so all these SDM 200s will not hit. Unfortunate timing as Cosmic is forced into cover to avoid getting beamed.
Good
Down
pullback
low,
micro there
Solus-
from backline fan, as it were. That's notes according to my little notepad here.
ANS's advantage of having a bunch of beamstones is already probably paying off here. You can see that Solus's 1-corpse low on A side near C is already pivoting to try and get an angle on Cosmic's 100 mil liner that pushed out. Meanwhile, up top,
Ooh,
Photon
mildly
Squadron
gonna get
under
found over
engagement.
on the east side here. One of their destroyers gets hellstruck, going to, looks like, have a cell cook off in about 50 seconds. This thing is not long for the world.
Did it get ruddled, or what did it get hit by?
Looks like, from the
S2s?
impact, that's a missile strike of some sort, but...
No, it
didn't
wasn't
quite see what that
missile.
was.
Rebel Squadron probably? Is Rebel empty? Yep, Rebel's empty and RTBing to the carrier. That's
There you go.
definitely what it was. Although,
Yep. Looks
ANS
like
still
some
has
more missiles here.
beamstones
These are...
guarding E
what
point.
the heck? SGM Killjoys chasing after these fighters. Do these have warheads?
Ooh, perhaps a little bit of mistuning those missiles here, as Iris probably uses the Z Prio command to fire SDM 200s. But
Yep, those must have been set to all targets instead of just missiles.
You can see the priority defense command. Unfortunately, a little bit of a misplay, misdesign of the missile tuning there. Although this, that was all of the Killjoys in this BB. That BB's out of Killjoys.
That's unfortunate. All right.
I don't think there's really much OSP has that can take advantage of that, but if OSP had a container liner, that would be a really, really rough situation to be in.
Beamstone underneath of A point looks like it's going to get fished here by a couple size 2s. That said, bit of a staggering issue is the missile launchers do not appear to have been timed correctly. We're going to see a bunch of these size 2s kind of come in at a odd pace. Still, without defenders...
Ooh, odd angle.
Mike?
They come in. Yeah, they came in at an odd angle. Chaff is out.
These are act with Thermval. The ship is moving. That's the destroyers are too small, I believe, for Thermval to
shouldn't
kick.
validate destroyers. No, destroyers are way too small. Yep, and then all those go for Chaff. But OSP does know that that thing is there now, since it deployed Chaff.
Eyeball Flight doing their best to run interference. Steady stream of these SDM-2s. How many on this 100 mil liner do they still have left?
They still have 6
of
left.
them.
That's a pretty impressive number, considering that that's a liner.
Yeah.
You can see probably where a lot of... I already know that the Cosmic Eradicator with the 100 mil liners, that is the fake Cosmic. The real Cosmic is the one with the Yub monitor and 250 liner.
All right. Talking briefly about the fleet comps here. Backline Fan, which is Notes, doing the right call, which is keeping their carriers very far back, knowing that there is a lot of R2 strike potential. They've decided to put them in the safest spot they can behind all of this layering of Beamstone. Still, ANS kind of given up ground. Very hard to push into them with their sheer number of Beamstones. Even after losing one of them, they had 9 Beamstones on the board effective. One of them, or maybe 2 of them lightly struck.
That being said, OSP doesn't need a push right now. They managed to snag C right under the gaze of multiple Beamstones. Yeah. All ANS has to, or all OSP has to do is hold against this enemy team comp here. More Yub attempted on that Beamstone. One of them acquires, 2 of them acquire. Do they have
maneuverability?
3?
Swing and a miss, just barely with one impact
hit.
Across the top on the chaff box and reactor.
Takes out the chaff launcher. Ooh, that's going to probably force a restore of the reactor in order to bring that beam up maximum. But Cosmic, at the same time the missiles hit, pivot around in their liner here.
100 mil liner does get the track on this.
At the wrong angle. That's
not firing for some reason. There it is. There's the command.
100 millimeter. There it is. Yep.
That 100 mil should just tear this thing apart.
Mil. No plasma. That is HE though, so it should. Yep. There comes the plasma. Beam is already starting to try and pivot back to target. FPA down. Bullseye down. Ooh, bullseye down. This Beamstone will be unable to provide
not long
but
for
the
this
panels. The panels are down too. The Beamstone can't see the liner.
Liner, after it finishes its cycle here with the T-30, should just remove this Beamstone from the game. The corpse will live up to its name. ANS, I'm going to say it right now, was a little too complacent. They allowed the OSP to move up. Sure, they've got their half of the map secured, but with these 2 points, C and E, in the hands of OSP, they're feeling pretty good about their situation. The dispersed liners right now kind of just need to be dealt with. They have Beamstones in the area. They've got bombers as well, but so far they've just not gone for any kind of aggressive play, instead being complacent to sit back and just kind of hope that the OSP walks into their jaws.
ANS, though, does step back onto C, and you can see here that Solus moves -5 Bone onto this pretty much the C point itself, trying to get a really aggressive angle on that 100 mil liner. Cosmic is already moving up one of their ruddles, probably to try and deny C or recap it.
Missiles on the left going to go fine mildly. That is a crippled ship already.
Deny. These ones are out for the deny.
All right, missiles towards C point. We saw 2 strikes, actually. Size 2s take out the skull from Mildly there. These missiles going to go towards that C point and all get seduced onto Chaff there.
Yep, that is a cringe capper with no radar act. ARAD act is not really going to work well against that. You can see here, wow, Notes is massing a massive strike here of 8 bombers, probably looking to eviscerate one of those liners and get C firmly in the hands of ANS here.
Nightshade Flight has a lot of torpedo potential here. These are CMD Saw and CMD Hodge. Do these liners have the ball jammer on them? It does not appear so. They've got 4 warp launchers on
Ooh,
this.
look at
Wow.
this. Fury Squadron, which is Piranha Rocket Strike, catches Cleaver and Malice on east side, which are bomber squadrons. No anti-fighter capabilities here, as assuming that Fury Squadron has enough fuel, they are just going to shred all of these bombers apart.
Fury
Malice
does struggle a
forced to
little bit
dump
on the
early.
chase there, as they are still set to go evasively as we see them trying to run them down. Bombers flying about 100 meters a second, the fighters going about 110. They will eventually run them down, but as we have seen before, ammo count on the chase is something that you have to keep an eye on. Sometimes can be worth turning off your guns in order to just let your guys catch up a little bit faster.
Malice Squadron was forced to dump early onto this this gun shuttle here that was heading for Boxer. It wouldn't have arrived anyway,
Honestly,
considering that there
decent
are
collection on that.
3
They may
or
have thought that was a
Beamstones.
Ruddle going for the Beamstone nearby the carcass. See some
Possible.
missiles flicked off
Fury
here. Piranha rockets
Arctic dumps.
launched on
That was a
Mildly's
full
capper.
gun capper. That was a full gun capper. Anus doesn't have many of those, and you can see here that Mildly is already, and Solus 2 are already repositioning their beams to try and get hits on Fury Squadron, but Fury Squadron is just leaving right now. Meanwhile, look at this. Cosmic is also sending one of their gun cappers to A, although it has already been target locked by one of the damaged beamstones overlooking A. That being said, there are multiple looking at A right now.
I think
Although
that this
only
is
the one in
definitely
the
a missed
whole rock-
opportunity from OSP not killing one of those beamstones earlier on. They
Right.
had successfully seen off a couple of them. Bastion Flight looking like underneath the map, they're going to find the corpse here with some rockets. The corpse as well, despite the 100 mil liner strikes, these destroyers had lived through that. Now Rocket's going to clean
Right,
that
that
thing.
finishes it up though. Taking
Nightshade
a
Flight's
look
still loitering
here.
nearby. There's quite a few of these just light rocket strikers just hanging out.
Ooh,
Nightshade has
Will-
fuel for the next minute or so, but that liner has pulled back significantly along with its compatriots.
right. I think that, oh, here we go. Cosmic sending the Ruddle towards C. Will this be caught by a beamstone? You can see here Solus has already moved back the beamstone that they pushed up pretty aggressively. It is on track. ANS knows it's, or sorry, OSP knows it's there.
Size
Missile
2 is
Yub
going to go
attempt
into the
at
A-hole
beamstone
there.
bully
See if it
at
catches mildly.
A. Cosmic does manage to get their capper into
Uh-oh,
cover
it's going to
relative
miss,
the
and
beamstone.
instead
It catches
Solus, I
the
think, is
wrong
caught
one.
slacking. Last-second chaff attempt, but maybe
Those
too
are all
late.
going to hit the nose.
All right, that's going to be the beam
One
taken down.
restore. Beamstone is recoverable, although that is a lot of beam health lost. Second missile strike comes in, unfortunately misses as Mildly pulls back corpse.
Bit of a mistiming there. If they had gotten this size 2 strike as well as Cosmic Eradicator moving their shuttle onto the A point, they may have gotten that cap. Still, OSP currently leading 410 to 248 on the board. ANS and OSP both holding a 2 cap, A staying neutral. I'm going to say it right now, with the defensive assets being slowly bled on ANS side, I think OSP is in a much more
Ooh.
favored position right now. I'm going to see if
Look at
Nightshade
this.
gets through.
Iris's BB pushes into plasma range of the monitors, takes some plasma to a
That is
really
a bad angle to get yourself
That's
found
a
at.
bad angle. Yep, that's Hesh and 100 mil now going into this BB. It will likely start pulling back. SDM 200s go into Impulse Squadron, which is the ASF squadron providing air cover for the monitor ball.
Nightshade Flight gets jumped by Aurora fighters, and they are going to be having a field days. These bombers
Ooh,
have no defense.
that is
Panic dump
8
on the
bombers at
corpse.
close range. They panic dump onto the Yub monitor. That is still a valuable target to go down, but nothing like the much more valuable liner that
Yub monitor
I
does
think that
get
they were-
removed here. Very
Yep.
soft target backline asset. So honestly, as far as pickoffs go, that's a pretty decent one. This thing had, I just checked, it was like 40 of its missiles left. Manages to flick fire off a couple of them. So still a
at the
good
last
pickoff
moment as
there
a
as
panic
far as
dump.
they
These
could.
ones are just blind firing through the gap in the A-Rock here. OSP steps onto A, completely undetected. The
There we go,
beamstones
that's the
out
thing.
of position. The beamstones out of position. They were forced to pull back to avoid the missiles. And now, yeah, A is completely open. These missiles that go through the A-Rock They acquire Chaff.
They're gonna now actually lock on to the corpse mine. Let's see if they have maneuver. One of them catches it in the tail. Gonna be a drive snipe on this thing.
That beamstone is going to be unable to deny A, as OSP, I believe, is just going to take A.
Yep. OSP will get the A cap here. No other beam destroyers in position. There was multiple areas, but the corpse, well, both of the corpses in the cadaver were all forced back by some of those R2 and size 2 strikes. Very good positioning there, generating some like pressure, making it so that there's this opportunity to push in. Taking a look top of the map, Iris is kind of just exchanging fire with this monitor ball. We've seen this in previous games. The monitor ball versus battleship trade is pretty neutral until a deciding factor from supporting teammates comes in. You see that one of the monitors does get messed up pretty bad, loses all of its guns for the moment, but is slowly drifting back into cover.
2 restores means they're going to be able to bring up a lot of that. Fire from the BB has swapped to a different one now, allowing that thing to start recovering. You can see here on the C flank as well, Cosmic's Ruddle flank onto that beamstone doesn't really end too well. It gets hit by one of the bomber squadrons. Although that being said, Sunder Squadron from in the same area. Sunder Squadron is ASF for notes, and Sunder Squadron for OSP is a Ruddle strike that is attempting to find that beamstone. That
and Sunder will find them first. Throws a Naginata type out there.
Hunters out. Yep. Tethys just panic dumping the rockets now, just to make sure that they get them out before they get struck. And
might
those
not have
are
actually
going
seen
to
these guys on radar, given the directionals.
That is a mission-killed beamstone.
Yep.
C now has nothing guarding it other than the carrier. If OSP can muster a capper, that's going to be a relatively easy grab. Meanwhile, Cosmic finds another one of the beamstones with their 100 mil liner. This is Solus's carcass under fire. Its beam was facing A in the completely wrong direction, leaving it completely open to this flanking shot here, although I do believe it imcomps. No, it doesn't. It goes dark.
Oh, and R2 strike from behind as Lancer Flight catches it.
Didn't even see that. The execution from behind from Tethys.
I gotta say,
yet another beamstone.
These light R2 strikers, these have been deadly this game.
OSP Team Freakbob's Fenthouse is doing a masterful job of coordinating these beamstone snipes here. As you can see, Cosmic with the 250 liner finds one of the cappers from Mildly here that was going towards E and just absolutely annihilates it with the 250 liner. E is relatively safe now as OSP hangs on to that really strong 3 cap here. Their frontline forces are much better developed than OSP's, ANS's. Iris, Jesus, has been kind of forced outside of the map above C, a point that they already own. Meanwhile, you can see the liners and monitors from Freakbob's Fenthouse are really aggressively in position around
Falcon
EA
Chat
and
there
Dagger.
talking about how they killed the, 4th, 5th beamstone this game. One of them is mission killed, and there's 4 dead. Considering this is a double cap fleet play, they are doing surprisingly poor on the points. They had a lot of screening, but were really trying to get that 3 cap and hold on to it. It just never managed to do that this game.
ANS started with 10 beamstones, only down to 5 functional ones now. You can see Modley has 3 in various states of damage. Solus has 2. One of the beams on Solus's beamstones is really injured here. Not a good place.
Cosmic Eradicator might be getting struck. They are trying to clean up the gluttony from Solus, light corvette. There is 6 bombers currently moving towards them and no fighter coverage nearby. This may be the first successful, proper strike on a capital that we see this game.
Yep, out of SDMs, there go the torpedoes. These are Act Saw and Act Hodge. It looks like they're going to do a TOT type thing here. Does Cosmic have comms jamming?
They do not.
Any Warbler? No Warbler on this thing.
This is going to be an impact then, and that is a dead liner. It's just gone.
Wow.
Whoa.
I've never seen...
It's double... it's double storage. No.
Oh, no. DCX means that thing is not going to be able to resist as all of the restores get sniped. Okay. I was just going to say, I've never seen a liner... there's no reinforced DC on this thing at all.
Basic
folks,
CIC
this is why you bring
reinforced
DC, because if this Cosmic had brought a DCX, they would have lived and been able to restore a little bit there. Meanwhile... Breacher does send their last torpedo out onto Cosmic's gun capper, but it misses.
Yep, that's a seeker accuracy for you right there. There's a little bit of inaccuracy at play, and it was just enough here.
ANS is now cycling bombers. ANS is now cycling bombers. Breacher forced on RTB directly through the point defense field of that shuttle there. It takes out both of them. C is relatively open now. The BB is in orbit. The only thing that's really stopping them is Solus's little gun capper here, which if Cosmic plays this right, they should be able to win the gunfight against eventually.
Iris going wide in the orbit now, going to find these monitors here from an odd angle. Monitors, I don't think we're expecting that, have to quickly swing their noses around and rotate on this rock. Still, Iris going to be very out of position up in the kind of orbital space here. Not able to provide pressure on that left side of the map for a while.
That being said, simultaneously, it looks like the BB is trying to push them into the beamstones here. As you can see, Mildly and Solus send a couple of their beamstones over the A-Rock here, and they start flanking towards the monitors. What is that range bracket?
That is really close to the effective fire range.
Yep. Almost within range, yeah, as Mildly, I think, is just going to flank speed these beamstones here to try and get the kill on the monitors, trying to dislodge them from A to allow a cap attempt to happen. The battleship doing a really impressive job of pivoting here. You can see Spy Eye immediately recognizes what's going on and immediately swaps the beamstones over to, or the monitors over to firing at this beamstone here. Beamstone has fire order. It is out of range.
100 mil is going to start tickling the front of this thing. Beam is already losing health bar. Beam is down to 14%. That is going to be a denial as it gets sniped out. 100 mil, very effective against that.
Spy Eye, a really impressive play there, immediately recognizing what the opposing team was trying to do there. It immediately pivots over. Although that being said, both Solus and Mildly have additional beamstones in that A-Rock there that they might try and do the same thing with.
Where they don't have beamstones is the C point right now, as there's a gun capper fight going on. T-20 shuttle does not have the heading command locked. We talked before about how the front of this thing is very hard to kill, but from the broadside here, the Corvette will take the favored engagement.
Yeah, you need to put heading there in order to win that fight there. Cosmic is sending a Ruddle, though, to help with the C thing here. Solus now flanking the damaged beamstone onto the point, although this thing is missing its arming missile and its beam, which means that it will not be able to contest.
A contention there as they're trying to go around. Iris doing their best to rotate in here, getting aggressive, trying to use the battleship's armor and health bar. They know that this monitor ball has been degraded over the course of the game, taking a couple of shots here and there. They're trying to just push in now, saying, screw it, I don't need armor anyways, I'll take these plasma hits if I can kill you.
Although, look at this. Look at Slasher Squadron. That is a sortie of 12 R2 bombers there. I believe that those are probably going for the BB. They have been target locked. Is the BB going to fire SDM-200s?
Battleship has two SDM-2s. That's not enough.
Ooh. Sarissa is now firing from the battleship's orbital support reins. Slasher needs to flank speed to that battleship just to help with
Sarissa's actually in a very bad arc here. If Iris can,
there they go. There goes the
this thing sideways.
SDM-200's out. CMD Nagananta is out on Slasher here. Slasher's likely going to take a couple losses here, but with only 2, I highly doubt it's going to be enough to be able to stop this strike here.
We'll see one gets splashed. Other one appears to
one
just
of them misses.
That's unusual for command.
Slasher now flank speeding directly towards that BB. They are going to strike with their rockets. They are taking some losses to the Sarissas, although are they going to commit? I believe they are. They are within range.
If this frigate was in a proper broadside position, Slasher flight would be under a lot of threat right now.
Slasher swapping target to the reins.
May actually be the tech here. They're going for it. Yeah, there's the R2s, knowing that this is going to be an air support asset. They're going to remove it from the game with that R2 strike. There is the hits as we see this thing trying to roll.
This is mostly as Slasher, mistimes the launch. The Reigns does live, loses a Sarissa, though.
Mildly apparently can't spot a plasma liner for some odd reason. Interesting stuff. Taking a look on the east side, we're going to see that 100 mil, or no, that 250 liner going to be just cleaning up shop here. The blood from the A point is... Oh, actually, this might be the Snorkel effect going on. So, due to some of the weirdness of how the liner hull works with its size, the radar measurement point is from the center. Potentially, they just don't see the center point of it due to the weird geometry of these rocks here. So.
We have an ASF engagement by the monitors as the escorted bombers from AMS do manage to clean up the fighter escort for the monitors. Looks like they do get strikes through as most of those monitors are pretty gutted now. That was the majority of OSP's frontline is now going to get picked apart by the BB as ANS finally gets the advantage they were looking for on frontline, though. Although, at this point in the game, OSP secured a massive cap advantage. They're going to take C as well. The Ruddle from Cosmic manages to kill everything else on C point. as OSP takes a 4 cap here. Will they be able to hold is the question.
Will
Mildly
they need to
flanking
hold
their
is the other
crippled
one. At this
Beamstone.
current state, almost 800 points on the board right now. 4 cap situation. ANS very deprived of their cap assets. They're down to, let's see, how many working beamstones? 2 working beamstones with very damaged nose guns on this thing. They are not looking good in the cap situation. Iris is very far out of position right now. They're not on any of the cap points. And, well, with the carriers that far in the back line, there's a lot of cycle time for the bombers here to have to come back.
I don't know
Despite
if the
the
remaining
advantage,
ships from
like-
ANS can get onto points in time, yeah.
Yeah.
There is a sacrifice play attempt on A. Mildly sends in their crippled Beamstone to try and take the point, although multiple ships have arc to fire. Cosmic's 100 mil liner, the remaining one, has put itself in a very advantageous position. Low there, able to deny large portions of the A area here. Beam engagement on Eclipse here as Blackjack gets beamed on its rocket strike attempt on Solus's skull. They strike early on Cadaver instead, not wanting to get beamed.
Does
Those
take
are
out the beam there.
misleading
No
beam,
restores left.
restores.
Beamstone ineffective.
Another Beamstone down, which leaves, I believe, only Solus's 3- Cadaver as the only functional Beamstone left. Or the only one that still has its beam up, right? No. Skull does as well and begins beaming Cyclone Squadron, although there is a still fully healthy 250 liner.
Trying, and they're going to be short out their beam there. That's unfortunate.
Ooh, unfortunate.
That said, there's
this
not really
liner
much for
from
them to hit
Cosmic.
over here. Game looking pretty decisively in OSB's favor. ANS just bringing in a lot of these defensive assets to hold a lead, but they just never could establish it.
Tethys is committing with the 20.
22
Oh my God.
fighters.
That is going directly towards
Yep.
the BB.
I just realized these are
Uh-oh.
named pikes. This is a little bit of funniness there. All right,
The
battleship in the
Sarissa
broadside
Reigns-
has been plasma on the left there. Let's see if they go for the angle or not. They may just decide to hell strike this thing.
The Sarissa Reigns with a little bit of a misplay. It's their knocked out Sarissa that's facing towards the squadron. Their
That's
active one
unfortunate.
is rolled to the wrong angle. You can see the Reigns is attempting to roll right now to try and get that onto target, but it is too little too late as Voodoo is going to have nothing stopping them from just striking here. The BB is out of SDM 200s. No Sarissa support as Voodoo's just going to get real close and just dump onto this this BB.
Defenders will kick on as they
Defenders
enter the range
firing
here.
at this. Doubles back. There
Going for
we
the
go. Tethys
widespread
strikes.
formation, there's the simultaneous strike, and that's going to be some good impacts. It's going to be a lot
Yep.
of good impacts. Take a look at this thing, pretty redded. If there was frontline to capitalize on this, this would be a great time for it. A lot of those armor plates on the right side have now been stripped down due to those rocket impacts.
I should probably mention that Tethys still has 150 R2s remaining in their carrier.
Dear lord. All right, 8-point
Anyway.
Cosmic Eradicator is going to step on with their admittedly kind of wounded 100 mil liner, but this thing
Looks
does
like it
have
got
enough to put itself
struck
together.
by. Looks like it got struck by Chieftain.
Chieftain gets torps through there. So these liners, I will say they're a little bit greeded in some ways, going with the double
They're
storage
meant
instead of a complex. That's only a 10-point like cheapening. You definitely can't fit complex.
Right.
I'm going to
They're
say like
meant
every
for more of
time it's
a.
worth it.
I think they're meant for more of a sustained frontline like engagement with the number of restores they have, although that makes them super vulnerable to those carrier strikes, as we saw with the other one here. I've never seen a liner get one shot by a torpedo bomber squadron like that before. That was actually a little bit impressive.
Double basic CIC, double storage. These are incredibly fragile, but if they survive the strike, they can definitely put themselves back together with the double storage pack.
C point being contested as a
Reactor bloom goes
Beamstone-
off from
whoa.
the shuttle,
Did
it
that
looks
knock
like.
out? Did that knock out the Beamstone? No, it's still contesting. Okay, so it's going to be an infinite contesting on C, considering that Beamstone is not combat effective, and
Okay, so let's take a look. Yard drive shuttle here. Okay, so the rocket shuttle is currently considered ineffective. Those
Yep,
cells are
ANS is
empty,
calling
and
it.
it's missing.
ANS is calling it.
Okay, there we go then.
Freakbob's Fenthouse is going to take round one with excellent carrier play from Tethys, able to just annihilate. Honestly, excellent play from everyone on Freakbob's Fenthouse. The anti-beamstone strategy worked absurdly well here. I believe that Freakbob's Fenthouse probably anticipated the mass beamstone play here based on their fleet comp. We saw a lot of 100 mil liners, lots of 250 liners, and the R2 carrier. worked very, very well against the massed beamstone strategy that ANS brought here. All of the beamstones bled out at the end, a lot of them really early on, and a lot of them at very, very inopportune moments for ANS. The team play really working out for OSP there. The battleship, unfortunately, was just kind of forced into orbit by the monitors, holding a really aggressive stance on A. Although the monitors ended up getting killed in the end, they managed to hold for long enough for the points to tick up for an OSP victory there. Notes did get some strikes through at the end there, but for the very opening parts of the match, we're just completely unable to get strikes through on those early cappers and early aggressive plays from OSP, which allowed them to secure the cap advantage. And by the time they were able to get strikes through, especially on the monitors and on some of the liners, it was kind of already decided due to the points lead that OSP had gained.
Yeah, OSP comfortably getting that advantage in the early game. The backline for ANS, while they went for this very bomber-heavy style, which can be quite effective, as we saw, they just eviscerate one of the liners when they caught it out of position, also suffers a bit here as the fighter coverage was just so heavy on the OSP side with all those R2 strikers. All you need is a little bit of 20 mil to see them off. We just do our running
on that.
Twitch
Levy here. Can I quickly mention something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Bonnie specifically told them, do not run this team comp, you're gonna die to Tethys.
All right, well, there we go then.